Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome. We are here today at Universal Orlando because we do finally have an official HHN 34 update. We have an official logo, some new merch, and also a new clue in that store that could tie into HHN 34. So, enough talking. Let's go ahead, get in there, have a great time, and dive in. It is about time that we have finally got an official update. They came out with some new merch. They got the new logo, the new slogan. There's so much to go over. And in that store, there's actually a throwback type of icon that I want to talk to you guys about because it kind of plays a part into the speculation map. All right, guys, here we are. This is where the new merchandise is at. In the 5 and Dime store. Let's check it out. But before we walk in, take a look at this, man. Never go alone. And I know some people are upset about the slogan, but I don't mind it. And the picture is awesome, man. But let's take a deeper look inside the store. Take a look at this. They got the Never Go Alone hats. They have some shot glasses right here. And honestly, with this little structure right here, it kind of smells like you're inside of a house, to be honest. But man, look at all this merch. Got some candles over there. This hat is what, $30? It's not a bad hat. I like it. Then back here, they do have the Never Go Alone shirts. And that seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, a raven. And that kind of ties into one of the symbols that we're going to talk about, which is pretty cool. And they also have this tank top, and that is coming at $33. Not bad. I like the tank top. We have so much to discuss that was in that store, and it was actually pretty cool to see Curator inside of the mirror. Now, it was really hard to capture it on camera, but here you go. I got a decent look at him, but that was pretty cool. That was cool, and I am so happy that they finally got the merch out because last year merch actually kind of tied into the tribute store and also Slaughter Cinema 2 house. So it could be a possibility that the merch that we have now ties into something regarding HHN, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So Curator was actually in the HHN 32 tribute store where we walked into like a comic book and we was part of that book itself. He was the narrator and he was actually the feature of that store, but he was also narrating us through that comic book, also through the store. And there was a very interesting piece of that tribute store that we had with Curator that I have a theory that it could tie into this year's event. So I'm thinking that the icon could be the Curator or hear me out. So in that HHN 32 tribute store, we had like merch and a shirt and a backpack with the Raven and Little Boo on there. Is it possible that they could bring back the Pumpkin Lord? What's up, guys? So I had a light bulb just flick on in my head while I was editing, and I have found even further evidence for the Pumpkin Lord to come to HHN because I found some things that connects from the tribute store in HHN 32 to what we have in the 5 and Dime store for the HHN merch this year. So for one, let's talk about the merch. We just got merch dropped in the 5 and Dime store, and on that shirt it had a raven with a eyeball that was on the Never Go Alone shirt. We had that same type of raven with the eyeball at HHN 32 tribute store on the merch with the shirt, and it was sitting on top of Lil Boo and also on that backpack. That's a pretty neat connection because Lil Boo, the origin story of Lil Boo, he came when we had the Pumpkin Lord house, I think, which was in HHN 30. And he was at the beginning of the facade, and that's when he got the name. and people made a connection with the Pumpkin Lord. And ever since then, HHN has kind of been running with it. So in that Wicked Growth house, we had like a cemetery type vibe, which is what the merch is kind of giving. And in that cemetery, we had the Grim Reaper. Where have we seen the scythes from? On the symbol. And I haven't gotten on the new speculation map. I will do another video on the new speculation map, but in all three speculation maps, we have had the Raven wings with the Grim Reaper scythes, and we had I thought it was cities that was inside of those first two speculation maps, but now I'm starting to think they are tombstones as to go for as a cemetery vibe. That is pretty cool. And that kind of just gives me more reason to think that the Pumpkin Lord could be here, because everything just connects, from the raven with the eyeball matching the same raven with the eyeball that was sitting on top of Lil Boo in the tribute store, and then Lil Boo connection to the Pumpkin Lord, and then inside the Wicked Growth house we had the Grim Reaper with the scythes. And on all three speculation maps, we have had scythes, we've had the raven wings, we've had the tombstones, which could represent the cemetery, and now even on the third symbol, they changed the tombstones to like a dead tree, which still represents death. So there's just so much that matches up to it, and I don't know, maybe they're trying to tell us that Lil Boo or the Pumpkin Lord will be back and have a featured house. Who knows? And from seeing how Slaughter Cinema 2 matched the merch that came out last year, HHN, I can see them doing something similar to that and probably bringing a house. Who knows? He can be a house. He could be an icon. I loved the Pumpkin Lord when he was here last time. It was awesome. So let me know what you guys think about that. Back to the film. That would be pretty awesome. I wouldn't mind the Pumpkin Lord being the icon here, and I also wouldn't mind the Curator being an icon here. I think you could run with either two, to be honest, because they both can tell a great story and they will be a perfect fit for this year's event. Now, I know we've had the Pumpkin Lord in HHN 31, but there's nothing wrong with bringing him back as the icon and tying in the scare zone, or also tying in him to a house like the Oddfellow year. I loved that year. That was actually one of my favorite years. I think the icon should always tie into a scare zone and also into a house. Which one would you guys want? The Pumpkin Lord or the Curator? Honestly, I'm fine with either or. I would be ecstatic about either or. But I will tell you guys that I did speak to a good friend of mine while I was at the store, and he was explaining to me how the 5 and Dime store, with that structure with Curator inside of that mirror, they don't really work hand in hand with the event. Now, the merchandise does. The merchandise does tie into the event, but that structure with Curator inside there, that was 5 and Dime doing that, and they don't really work hand in hand with HHN. So the possibilities of Curator being there is slim, but I still see it as a possibility. Now, the Pumpkin Lord, I can definitely see that, because the Raven with the vines, that was in HHN 32 with that merchandise. So I can see that as a tie-in. So those are my theories. Those are my speculations. And of course, none of this is anything that's 100% confirmed. These are all speculations. Nothing's confirmed until Universal and HHN say it's confirmed themselves. But what do you guys think? I think it's a possible chance. So it seems they have added a truss right here. Now, this could be for Jaws, or maybe they're starting early with HHN. That would be pretty cool if they were, but I think it could be for this Amity Island celebration that they're doing for the 50 years of Jaws, which there's a lot more stuff back there. As you see, there's a food cart back there. We'll get to it, but this could be a tie-in to a scare zone. Who knows, man? Because I don't see what's the need for having this here. And no, I don't think it's for GrabVenture, because GrabVenture has already been going on, and that was not there before. So it's either for Jaws, or they're starting early for HHN and just having that truss up there. So we'll see. And here's another update for Amity Island. They have a food cart, and I have a video on this that you guys can watch. I've done like a full video. You can check it out right here. So I don't want to go too much into this. This is the HHN video, but a lot of this stuff is new from my last video. Pretty cool, man. And also this one right here, boardwalk snacks. That's also new. I didn't get that last time. Pretty cool. But that's it, guys. That's everything that I have for you today. What a good day, man. I'm just ecstatic that they finally announced something, just something. I don't care if it's just merch, it's something. Can't wait for further announcement because they cannot wait too long. But hey, if you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead, smash that like button, share, turn notifications on, and most importantly, subscribe. And you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.